Welcome to another edition of the CS Podcast, where you can hear interviews with special guests such as
Dale Buchanan, Tom Waddle, Pierre Desir, Brent Berry, Ed Werder,
and many others.
Too big, too strong, too fast, too good.
So be sure to subscribe and tune in to the CS Podcast on YouTube at youtube.com/ChristianRE722.
Did you not get the memo?
That's www.youtube.com/ChristianRE722 for great interviews. Be sure to check out the CS Podcast.
You are ridiculous.
Welcome back to the CS Podcast. I'm your host, Chris Shanafelt, and it's a pleasure to welcome back to the show 2015 NFL Draft prospect, quarterback out of Eastern Illinois University, Andrew Manley. Once again, Andrew, I appreciate you taking some time to chat today. How's everything going?
It's going great. Just appreciate you having me on here.
Absolutely. I got to say, the pleasure's all mine. Let's go ahead and get right to it. Now, last Wednesday was National Signing Day, Andrew, and of course, you had a lot of success and many accolades in high school. You were named the 2009 Gatorade Player of the Year in Hawaii. You were named first-team All-State, and then you decided to attend New Mexico State University. For those who don't know, you were at New Mexico State University for 3 years, including a redshirt year before you transferred to Eastern Illinois in 2013. I just want to start this interview off, though, by asking you a pretty simple question, and that is, coming out of high school, having the success that you had, why did you decide to attend New Mexico State and play for the Aggies?
Well, I was getting recruited by some big-time schools, the Pac-12, Ole Miss, Louisville, but a lot of those schools were scared. I don't know if scared is the right word, but they didn't want to really go with quarterback that was out of the state of Hawaii. They didn't know much about me, so I didn't really get offered by any of those schools, but I got offered by New Mexico State, Hawaii, and San Jose, and those are pretty much my three choices coming out. And Coach Julian Walker and his coaching staff really sold where they wanted to be, where they were going, and what they wanted to get done at New Mexico State, and I wanted to be part of that.
And, of course, during your time at New Mexico State, you were able to play in 5 games as a true freshman, get a little experience there early on. And then as a sophomore, you were actually named the team's starting quarterback. You started the first 3 games until you suffered a season-ending injury and redshirted the remainder of that season. And then in 2012, as a redshirt sophomore, you came back and started all 12 games for the Aggies. You went on to throw for over 2,700 yards and 18 touchdowns. How were you able to bounce back from that injury and have the success that you ended up having that 2012 season of yours at New Mexico State?
I just work hard. I feel like we were blessed with this opportunity to play football, so you might as well take advantage of it. So I was able to just work hard. I had a great training staff that was able to rehab me real well. We had a good strength program that I was able to get strong, and I was able to be back before spring. Coach Dwayne Walker still believed in me, and that whole summer and spring, I was able to still work with all the guys, with the timing and everything. So it was just a lot of hard work put in the off season that I was able to bounce back that season.
Now, that 2012 season would ultimately be your final season at New Mexico State. Why did you decide to leave? Was it the head coaching change? Did you feel it was just time to move on to a different program? I mean, what was it, and how did you decide to move down to the FCS level and attend Eastern Illinois?
The new coach staff came in, and they're running more of a spread option with the running quarterback system, so that spring, I was still there for that spring. I had a good spring, in my opinion, but their direction was more of a running quarterback, so I knew it was time to look elsewhere. When I put my name out there, first person to hit me up was Coach Dino Babers at Eastern Illinois. He recruited me when he was at Baylor out of high school, so I had a relationship with him already. That Baylor offense that they were running there is just something that pulled me in. I saw Jimmy Garoppolo. He was putting up great numbers, having a great year the year before I got there. So I knew it was an offense that I wanted to go and play in, and that's why I decided to choose EIU.
Your first year at EIU, you were the backup quarterback to Jimmy Garoppolo, who, of course, had a ton of success throughout his time at Eastern Illinois, went on to be drafted by the Patriots in the second round, and, of course, just won a Super Bowl a couple of weeks ago. Were you able to learn anything from Garoppolo being in that same quarterback room as him that year?
Yeah, we were both able to learn stuff from each other. We were both able to bounce stuff off each other. Because when I got to EIU, I already had 19 starts under my belt, so, we were able to talk. And I was able to learn a lot from him, and I tried to give as much knowledge as I could to him. But one thing that I did learn and was able to pick up on from watching him every day was just how quick he was with his release. And everybody knows that he has a very fast release, so I was able to work on that, talk to him about it, ask him about it, and it's just made me quicker release and made me more accurate.
Now, that first year of yours at Eastern, Andrew, you guys finished the season 12-2, went on to defeat Tennessee State in the FCS playoffs before falling to Towson in the quarterfinals at a snowy O'Brien Stadium there in Charleston. Nonetheless, it's still one of the best seasons in the history of Eastern Illinois football. Of course, a lot of change has occurred since then. I mean, like we said, Jimmy Garoppolo went on to be drafted by the Patriots. Eric Laura, among other seniors, had to leave. Dino Babers took the head coaching job at Bowling Green. So in comes head coach Kim Dameron, who was the defensive coordinator over at Louisiana Tech the season before. With all that being said, what were both your individual and team expectations for this past season, knowing that it'll be your final go-around at the college level?
You know, we had high expectations. We just won the OVC the year before. We lost in the third round of the playoffs. And as soon as Coach Dameron got there, one of the first things he said is his goal was to go and win the national championship. So, you know, that was our goal. That's what we had on our minds all of the off-season, all of spring, and all of camp going into the season, and that's what we're working for.
Mm-hmm. And with that being said, obviously this season didn't go the way you guys expected it to. Throughout the first handful of games, both you and Jalen Whitlow, who transferred from Kentucky, went back and forth as the team's starting quarterback. The team finished 5-7 after beginning the season 1-5. And at one point near the middle of the season, I believe it was, Whitlow was chosen to be the team's starting quarterback for the remainder of the season. Like I said, probably not the way you guys expected the season to go, but overall, going back to your time at New Mexico State, having the success that you had there and then transferring to Eastern Illinois and being there for these last 2 years, how would you describe your overall college football experience?
Kind of a roller coaster, I would say. You know, it was a great experience playing college football with 6 different offensive coordinators, 3 head coaches, transferring. You know, it was fun to be able to experience it all, but you know, I say a roller coaster. There's a lot of up and downs, good seasons, torn ACLs in this past season, not playing much. But, you know, I was just blessed to have the opportunity to be in college and play the sport of football and get a free education, got my degree in psychology. So, you know, I'm just thankful for everything that I've been blessed with in football.
What would you say is the biggest difference between playing over at New Mexico State and playing over at Eastern Illinois?
You know, when I transferred, I thought the game was going to be a little slower. I thought the guys weren't going to be as big. But one thing I did learn as soon as I got there is people were just as fast, just as big, just as strong. You know, so I thought there was going to be a big change, but, you know, I didn't see much of a change. I feel like the talent was still there. You still had great players at Eastern and the FCS level playing against defenses, other teams, and feel like it was the same speed. So I would say not much of a difference when it came to players and stuff like that. So I was actually surprised of how good the FCS level was.
Yeah, man, over these last couple of years, I've really fallen in love with the FCS level. I mean, there's really not much of a drop-off at the talent level. If you ask me, it kind of sounds like you're leaning towards that way as well. Once again, Chris Schanfeld talking with 2015 NFL draft prospect Andrew Manley, quarterback out of Eastern Illinois. And Andrew, over these last 5 years, who would you say is the best or most impressive player that you've had to play against? Does anybody specific stick out?
You know, D. Ford, when I played against Auburn, my redshirt sophomore year at New Mexico State, I was able to play against him. The 2 defensive ends at BYU, when they had, what was his name, Ezekiel and Van Hoon, those 2 guys were just studs off the edge. So, probably those 3 guys are the best guys I've played against.
And what would you say?
How good they were.
And, of course, they're now, having some success over in the NFL. What would you say is the biggest or most memorable play that you've made throughout your college football career?
You know, probably at Minnesota, my sophomore year before I tore my ACL. Just that whole game, you know, we were able to go in there and beat them 28-21. I was able to throw 3 touchdowns. So probably that whole game, you know, probably taking a knee at the end of that game was probably the most memorable play that I've had in my college football career.
All right, and of course, as we know, Tony Romo, Jimmy Garoppolo, they're the two former Eastern Illinois Panthers that are currently in the NFL. New Mexico State, they have a handful of guys. Is there any chance that you've been able to talk to anybody that has had any type of experience at playing at the next level? And have they given you any advice as to what to expect during this draft process?
You know, Devon House, he's been a great help to me. I've been able to talk to him over the last couple of years. He was a corner at New Mexico State, now with the Green Bay Packers. He's probably the one person that I've kept in contact with and has helped out the most. Just tell me you got to be patient, you got to work hard, sell yourself. Don't be shy to introduce yourself and go talk to people. Let them know who you are. Just keep in contact with everybody. When you have a shot to work out for a team, take full advantage of it. I just have all that stuff in the back of my mind that they've always told me. I need to get a hold of Jimmy. I haven't talked to him recently, so I just need to talk to him, see how everything was with him. But I'm just trying to stay positive about everything, take advantage of my opportunity, and just when my name is called or stuff like that, I'll be ready to go.
Once again, Chris Schanfeld talking with 2015 NFL Draft prospect, quarterback out of Eastern Illinois, Andrew Manley, here on the CS Podcast. And Andrew, just a few more questions, then I'll let you go. I really do appreciate your time. What do you feel is your biggest strength as a quarterback?
My biggest strength, I feel like the knowledge of the game. I feel like I've played in 6 offenses. In college, I've played against every defense, so I feel like the game is a little slower to me. I know that, of course, the NFL is a lot faster, but I'm able to see the field while I'm out there. I'm able to make sure I slide the line the right way. I can see safeties rotating, so I know where the blitz is coming. I'm able to, while I'm playing, I'm able to anticipate where the receiver is going to be. And I feel like my arm strength, I'm able to make every throw on the field.
And how about a weakness? Is there anything specific you plan on improving on during the offseason?
Oh, yeah. Of course, I want to be more accurate, In my college career, I know I've made some passes that have been inaccurate, so I really want to work on my accuracy and make it a strong point. My speed, just my ability to get out of the pocket when I need to and be able to get 5-6 yards and get down. So just making sure I'm more accurate, making sure I'm a little bit more explosive in the pocket to get out, and just keep learning defenses and being able to pick up the game of football.
All right, now earlier you mentioned that some of the advice that you received is, just to make sure you sell yourself. Now, let's say there's an NFL general manager listening to this very interview. Why should he want quarterback out of EIU, Andrew Manley, a part of his team?
I feel like I'm a great leader. You can ask former teammates of mine that I just have that leader ability. I have great knowledge of the game. I feel like I'll be able to pick up a playbook very quickly. I've been able to do that my whole college career. I can come in there. I'm not a troublemaker. I've never gotten into trouble off the field. I'm going to be there early, leave late. It's just the kind of guy I am, and I work really hard, and I'll be willing to do whatever it takes to succeed.
Hey, sounds good. Sounds good. Andrew, is there a quarterback currently playing in the NFL that you might compare your game to?
I've been asked this question a couple times now, and I really don't have an answer. I don't know how I compare to other quarterbacks. So, I just trying to be myself and go out there and do what I do best. I really don't feel like I personally can compare myself to another quarterback.
Well, of course, throughout these last 5 years, rehabbing that ACL, and then you mentioned you didn't play as much as you wanted to this past season. Has it sunk in yet that you've played in your final college football game, and that the next time you play will likely be in the pros?
It has. It has. I still look back and see on Instagram, Facebook, social networks, seeing my former teammates still training at Easter and getting ready for spring ball. It's sad because that was a great part of your life. But at the same time, I'm excited because I'm excited to see what's next in my journey. And the next time I could suit up could be for an NFL team. So it's just exciting that I know that it is over and what's next for me.
And I know recently, Andrew, you were able to participate in 2 college football all-star games, the FCS Senior Scout Bowl as well as the Dream Bowl. Can you just tell us a little bit about that experience, what it was like to showcase your talent in those 2 games?
It was a great experience, being able to meet other guys from the smaller schools, FCS level, D2 level, seeing how much talent there is out there in the lower level schools, being able to go play in those games, being able to just connect with other players. You know, it was just a great experience that I'm glad I went to both games, and I would do again in a heartbeat.
And, of course, the NFL draft is, just over 2 months away. It's actually going to be here in Chicago for the first time. Can you just tell us what's next for you? I mean, are you training anywhere? Are you going to any regional combines? Can you just tell us where you're at as of right now?
Yeah, at the moment I'm in Las Vegas training at athletic games, with Travell games. You know, I'm going to the regional combine on the 21st in Denver. Then I'll be attending Northwestern's Pro Day on March 3rd. Up there in Chicago. So just got that the combine and the pro day coming up, and hopefully I do well enough at the regional combine that I get invited to the super regional combine in Phoenix. So I'm just preparing myself for those 3 events coming up.
Absolutely. Well, Andrew, I got to say, man, it's been a pleasure, keeping in touch with you over this past year of yours. It's definitely been fun keeping up with you. I'm definitely wishing you nothing but the best throughout this process. You have anything else for us before I let you go?
Nothing. Just thank you for having me on here, and thank you for following up with me and keeping in touch.
Absolutely. Hopefully we could continue to keep in touch. And like I said, certainly wishing you nothing but the best. Take care, all right?
All right, you too. Thank you very much.